trick-or-treat scams of the season tonight on ABC 40. We're shining the spotlight on seasonal scams as well as scams to look out for throughout the year. ABC 40's Chris Pisano joins us now from the newsroom to tell you more. Chris?
Hey, Dave. The only trick-or-treating we want to see this time of year are the kids who show up looking for candy. But increasingly, crooks are trying to trick you trick you out of your money in the guise of treats. Now, whether it's the promise of that dream work-from-home job, quick, easy money from a European lottery, or a foreign diplomat seeking assistance, all of us at some time or another will find ourselves right in the crosshairs of a scammer. So tonight, on Trick or Treat Scams of the Season, we'll be talking to some experts on what to look out for and how to keep you and your family safe. Plus, what you need to know about the latest seasonal scams, signs that someone's trying to scam you, how to report a scam, and most importantly, local resources to help you if you have been scammed. And as always, we have folks ready to take your calls, questions, and concerns, including our reporters. The number to call is 846-0240. Dave?
Chris, thanks. Coming up, we'll hear from one of our scam experts about some of the more popular scams this time of year. We thought it would be a good idea to talk about trick-or-treats, but not the kind you have in mind. ABC 40's Chris Pisano joins us now from the newsroom to explain. Chris?
Okay, very ominous music there. We're talking about trick-or-treat scams of the season, specifically some of the things you need to watch out for as crooks try to separate you from your money. And joining me now is Milagros Johnson. She's with the Mayor's Office of Consumer Information. Milagros, thanks for joining us. We were talking earlier, because it is the season of Halloween, we see stores popping up, seasonal stores, but buyers need to beware, don't they?
Most definitely. My concern is that they're not going to be there next month. And so consumers need to know that they could be gone and they could end up with a product that they're not happy with. They try to return it and the business is gone. So my suggestion to the consumer is to do research about the company before they make any purchases. If they feel the business is basically stable enough, ask for the return policy, ask to see it in writing, and always make the purchase with a major credit card because you do have some remedies available to you if you're not satisfied with the product or the merchant.
Okay, another scam this time of year, of course, as it gets dark earlier, we spend more money on electricity, and of course we need to heat our houses. Some people now are receiving calls that utilities may be shut off unless they pay money up front. Tell me about that scam.
Consumers, please don't ever pay anyone over the phone. If they call you demanding any money, you need to hang up the phone. Companies do not do that. They will send you a letter. If you're behind on your bills, contact the service provider and let them know of your situation. Give them a contact information. Tell them what's going on. But as far as anyone calling you, a utility company, demanding a payment within the next 2 hours or 4 hours, I just had a call from a consumer. They said, if you don't call in 4 hours, we're going to put a lien on your home. And I mean, they're very creative with the things that they say. They're very creative in putting fear in the consumer. And consumers need to know that companies do not call demanding payment just like that. So consumers, please hang up the phone and call the utility company and ask to just they just call you. And chances are, they didn't.
All right, very good, Milagros. If you'd like to talk to Milagros or our other experts, remember you can call now through 6:30 with any questions or concerns you have about scams. The number is 846-0240, and we're here till 6:30. Dave?
It's pretty much a double holiday week here in Western Massachusetts. Halloween is just a few days away, and the Red Sox are in the World Series. And speaking of it, many people are scrambling for tickets, and that means scammers are looking to make a few bucks. ABC 40's Chris Pisano joins us now with more on trick-or-treat scams of the season, and that's a big one, Chris.
It sure is. In fact, the tickets for the World Series are selling for $1,500 a piece or more, and that's why we need to be especially wary of scammers. Joining me once more is Milagros Johnson from the Mayor's Office of Consumer Information. Milagros, you were so good the first time, we wanted to get you in for a second segment. How do we make sure we're buying tickets legitimately and not getting scammed?
Do your research. You can Google the name of the company, check with the Better Business Bureau, check with the Attorney General's office, but just don't go out and rush to get the tickets. You may end up with nothing but a big loss in your pocket. If you decide to go ahead after doing your research and purchase the tickets, make sure that you use a major credit card. Never use a debit card or a check or cash, because you do have remedies available.
Okay, and also we want to talk about charities. Again, for the season, it won't be long before we're getting solicitations, maybe on the phone, someone coming to our house and ringing the doorbell, or even outside of a grocery store. How do we know we're giving our money to a legitimate charity?
Chris, those calls and letters are already busy. They're coming in. Consumers are calling our office. I've already received a few phone calls here today about charities. If a company or charity is trying to raise organization is trying to raise money for charity, they have to be registered with the Attorney General's office. So go to public charities, the section of the Attorney General's office to verify whether or not that company is legitimate. If it's not, then you probably don't want to give them anything.
Would they have to also have something on their person? Say someone comes to your door, do they need their permit with them if they're soliciting cash?
If it's a door-to-door one, a fundraiser going door-to-door in the neighborhood, they have to be, they have to have a permit from the police department of the town that they're soliciting from.
They do?
Yes, they do.
Very good information, Milagros. Thank you so much. Again, it always pays to be wary and do your homework. Remember, our experts and reporters are standing by right now to answer your questions about scams. The number to call is on your screen. It's 846-0240. Phone lines open till 6:30. Dave, back to you.
All right, Chris, thanks. Now, one of the things we haven't talked about yet is online scams. Coming up, the self-inflicted computer scams you may be a victim of and not even know it. Still to come at 5:30, popular scams that you need to know about. ABC 40's Chris Pisano joining us again from the newsroom with more on something called the self-inflicted computer scam. Chris?
Yeah, this is a doozy, Dave. It is estimated that more than 91% of Americans have a computer or computerized device, so it's no wonder many scams originate online. Joining me now is Stan Prager with GoGeeks Computer Rescue of East Longmeadow, and he was the first one that told me about this self-inflicted computer scam. Stan, what is that?
Well, self-inflicted computer scam is one where the user puts himself at unanticipated risk for fraud. As the owner of GoGeeks in East Longmeadow, I have the dubious displeasure of encountering a lot of my unfortunate clients who've been taken advantage of in this method. So let's imagine that you've lost your AOL password, or let's imagine that you're having problems installing software of some type, right? So you're looking for help online. So you go to Google or another search engine, and you type in AOL or Microsoft. The first several URLs that come up are neither AOL nor Microsoft, but are typically companies who purport to represent them, to be agents of them. So let's say you click on one of these people, thinking that you're getting help. The typical scenario, they're going to try to remote into your computer, get you to give them a credit card. You're going to believe that they're representing Microsoft or AOL to help you, but in fact what they're attempting to do is to defraud you. Now some of these are legitimate companies and some of these are what I would put into the category as quasi-legitimate.
Well, how do we know the difference then? If we're on a website that we think, to use an example, is Microsoft, as you say, how do we know we're really not on that website?
Well, it would say up in the address bar, right at the top, www.microsoft.com, for instance. A lot of the ads are very obvious because you'll notice at the beginning of the thing will say techserviceguru.com/Microsoft. Okay? A lot of these people, as I said, are quasi-legitimate. They, in other words, may do legitimate computer services, but what they're trying to do is to get you to pay them, either on a one-time basis or on a recurring revenue basis, to be your IT person. You may have no problems at all with your computer, but they will convince you that you do.
Is there any information that we shouldn't be sharing online? Some information you tell clients no matter what, don't give it away?
Well, I mean, unless you're signed in with your bank, obviously in your online banking, then you're not going to be using something, and they'll never ask for a lot of information like a Social Security number or what have you. But you always want to be really careful whom you're giving information to. I don't think there's a hard and fast rule to never give out anything, but you're only going to give it to a legitimate source. For instance, if you were at the bank, Chris, and the person at the bank asked to see your driver's license and your Social Security card, you would probably hand it to them. If you were getting gas at the gas station, somebody asked for that same thing, you would probably not, okay? So it's really just a case in being circumspect, and I do like to tell people, look, you don't want to necessarily be a cynic and not trust anyone, but often the best way to avoid fraud is to be very cautious and be very, very careful whom you trust.
Always make sure the radar is up. All right, thanks, Stan. Get back there to the phones. I can hear them ringing right now.
Thank you very much.
We do have Stan and the rest of our experts and reporters standing by to answer your scam questions and concerns till 6:30. The number to call on your screen, 413-846-0240. Dave, back to you.
All right, Chris, thanks. Up next on Trick or Treat Scams of the Season, we'll learn more about online scams, including ones that also involve your telephone. Trick or Treat Scams of the Season tonight on ABC 40. We're telling you what scams to look out for and how to protect yourself and your family from scammers. ABC 40's Chris Pisano live in the newsroom talking to one of our computer experts about online tricks that you need to know about. Chris?
Yeah, Dave, sometimes scams can be pretty elaborate. Crooks not only use computers to try and get you, they also use your phones. One recent scam this season involves getting a call that your computer has some type of problem, maybe a virus. And joining us now to explain is Ray Ragusa of Ram Ray Computers. Ray, you just received a call from someone who had this very scam perpetrated on them.
That's correct. Somebody called them with an Indian accent, which is kind of typical for the phone call, telling them that they had a computer virus and they wanted to help you get rid of it. The problem is you have to give a credit card up front. In fact, this particular gentleman has been paying for this service for a year.
He has?
Yes. And so they've told him they're keeping his computer clean for a year. However, they did remote control into his computer in order to cure the virus.
How do they do that?
There are several programs that allow you to take control of somebody's computer. I set that up for many of my clients so that I can do troubleshooting on their computers, but it's with full agreement and they know exactly what I'm doing, and there are legal ways of doing it. I never initiate a phone call trying to sell that kind of a service to anyone. And what these guys did was they would take control, put viruses on your computer or put fake viruses on your computer and then cure them for money, and you wind up paying for their service to keep you clean for, in this guy's case, a year.
Well, let me ask you, can anyone just call you and know going in what type of computer you have, or even if it has a virus? It sounds impossible.
It is impossible. In fact, I had another call tonight, an elderly lady. They wanted her IP address. She really didn't even know what an IP address was. But once they have that IP address, then they're going to be able to get through your computer with some permissions on your part. And people get afraid because they don't want their computers to be infected. And these guys are there to help, but not really.
Yeah, so if you get a call with someone wanting to help you for money, you know more than likely that is not a good thing. Ray, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ray's going to head back to the phones. Want to remind you there's still 5 minutes or so left for you to call in here to get your questions and concerns answered with scams. The number to call right there on the screen, 846-0240. Dave, back to you.
All right, Chris, thanks. Always somebody out there making a look a buck off people. And if you weren't able to call in tonight or you want more information on tonight's segments, Trick or Treat Scams of the Season, we have all of it for you on our website, WGGB.com. It's safe to go there, too. We won't scam you. Pretty soon.